So one thing I'm noticing, I'm going back to this render here and I'm looking at it. Definitely there are two type of animations when it comes to just the motion of on the clock face itself. One is the animation of the shadow, another is the animation of the hours. So let's focus on that before we do an animation of the camera, which is the third element. The camera is moving around, make it farther and closer. Let's focus just on that face and the hours. So all I need to do is just tweak the position of the spotlight. And let's take a look, because I believe that must be the anchor point of that light. If this is true, then we are really ready to go. All we need to do is just change the rotation, because the anchor point is in the middle, and the light will just rotate around the center of the clock. And that's what we need to do. So I'm going to test this and just, again, it's the rotation of the Y axis. So, it's not working. No. And actually, if I look at the transform properties here, I don't have an anchor point for light. Interestingly, I just have the position and point of interest. There's no anchor point. If there was an anchor point, I could do that. But I guess the way the lights are designed, they don't have this type of value. Okay, well, in this case, we need to use a parent and child layers. So just need to set up this little light rig that will enable us to rotate things around. I could, in theory, I could just parent the light to arm of the clock face. But then, if I do that, because they stay in the center, the clock arm, that's where the anchor point is, and the clock face is the same. It's right in the center here. That's where those anchor points are, and that's exactly what we need. We need to introduce an anchor point to the light, so we can rotate things around that anchor point. So I could parent the light to these objects, but then in order to rotate the light, I would need to rotate the object itself. That's not really useful for us because we want to have an independent control of those elements from the light. So that's why we need to use the null object. The null object will be a controller for the light. So layer new and then null object. And the null object, as a default, is always created in the center of our composition, which is perfect. So let's make the null object 3D. And I'm going to move it down actually, because the light is down here below. So I have it around, just above the spotlight. Doesn't really matter where it is, just to organize my layer structure here so it's more logical. I'm just going to move it down here, and it's easy now to parent my spotlight to the null. Let's rename this null. Again, I'm clicking on the layer itself and then just spot control, enter. And I already parented it, but I do it one more time. In order to parent one layer to the other, you need to stretch this big whip here, or just drop this menu and decide which layer you want to use. Either way, I like to use the big whip because it's more visual. And this control, let's go to the rotation, and again, I'm going to scroll down here. We are using the Y rotation. And now imagine in the middle of this comp here, we have this little object with the light. I'm going to just dolly out so I can see the light. The light is here, but imagine I have this object here and with a little stick that is stretching all the way to that light. And now if I turn this object, also that light will turn around because it's at the end of this imaginary stick. So so that's how this works. I'm going to zoom in back so we can really see the shadow and dolly back. I'm dollying back because I'm in the camera tool, so you have to have the camera tool active to do these motions. And now that's exactly what we need. It almost looks like the sun is going around creating those shadows. So all we need to do is keyframe this animation. I wonder which way would be nicer. I think it's kind of cool. It goes like to the front and we can see the whole shadow, and it goes to the other side. So why don't I go to the beginning of my composition, this keyframe here. That's where it should start. Maybe starting like from hour 1, and then go back. And if I hold shift, I can snap to the keyframe while moving the playhead. So snap to the keyframe, and now I know that I will be changing the value of this keyframe. To make sure, you can always look at here, and if it's blue, that means that that keyframe is now exactly aligned with the playhead. So that's what we want. So now, let's just move the light that moves the shadow to 11 or something like that. Okay, good. I'm going to change now the work area, and with the shift you can also snap to the keyframe or to the playhead. So I'm holding shift and snapping it to my playhead, and just go to my preview and press the RAM preview here, and see it's going to load all the frames into the memory of the computer. Sometimes I don't wait till the whole render preview is finished. Just somewhere in the middle I press spacebar and see how this works. Works fine. It's not too bad. We could maybe speed it up a little bit, like 8 seconds or something like that. Make it a little bit more dramatic. But the whole setup works. I see the shadows and everything, the light, the composition, the colors, all looks pretty good. It's now just a timing issue, so I'm just going to tweak it a little bit here. Move this ending keyframe a little bit closer to speed it up. Good. Another thing I could do is, if this is going to be the end of our animation, I could easy ease this keyframe here. Easy ease, meaning that it stops less abruptly. So easy in, maybe ease out. So what I'm doing, I'm right click on the keyframe, and then go to the keyframe assistant, and selecting whatever easy ease setting I want. Basically, it has a more like a gradual speed up and gradual stop. Run preview. My system is pretty slow here. I could lower the resolution to increase the speed of the render. Go here, and the resolution is set to auto. Let's say maybe let's do like half, and I could even change to skip 1 frame, because I want to see just overall timing now. So this is good to always take a look at this and adjust it according to your needs. Preview. Well, this is much faster. All I need to know now is how this motion works without seeing the details of all those objects. Okay, so this is good. I think it works well. I believe I had created some type of motion on the letters then as well. So I can see that they're rotating independently from the clock face. Very easy to do since we have everything already set, and pre-comped. Let's go to the hours and just do some rotation. So R for rotation, and again it's rotating around the y-axis, and I believe that it was 8 seconds that everything is kind of resolves. I'm just going to go with my playhead and snap to the last keyframe. So I can also have this keyframe aligned, and just changing the value a little bit. Doesn't have to be that much. Actually, I'm thinking I just undid it, Command Z. Probably it should counter the rotation of the shadow, so probably going this way, that's gonna look better. Again, is out and is in, some right click, is out and right click, keyframe assistant is in. Run preview here, and now it's playing real time. Okay, good.